This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.
Good to see you, Mother. Or should I call you Vala? I believe you renounced our blood relation last time I saw you.
Seems you have no blood left to speak of.
You'll be somewhat satisfied to know that Merlin's weapon did work. The Ori were destroyed.
Really?
Somehow you and your simple human friends managed to destroy quite a large group of very powerful ascended beings.
Well, we're a very determined bunch. I always say you never know what you can do until you try.
I agree.
You don't seem too cut up about it.
No. The energy transferred to the Ori by their human followers used to be spread out among many. Now that I have ascended, I get it all.
If you don't kill us all first.
It's a shame I can't use your little discovery to convince everyone in your galaxy to follow me. It would be much more humane. Not as much fun, though.
Not wanting to give you any ideas, but why can't you use the Ark?
It's just not the same. People need to be convinced to see me for what I really am.
A spoiled brat with a god complex.
Now, Mother.
The Ark can only be programmed to make people believe what is true.
Once the Ancients have been destroyed, I will be a being of unchallengeable power, worshipped by all those beneath me. A true god by any definition, wouldn't you say?
So you've heard us talk about our favorite moments. Now what are our favorite villains? The ones we love to root for their comeuppance. At Stargate, much like any franchise, no shortage of villains.
Okay.
Kneel before Nayanak.
You shall call me Nayanak no longer. From this day forth, I will reclaim my real name. Apophis.
So,
Well, the only one that comes to mind for me is Connor Trenier. I can't remember his character name from Atlantis.
I see.
And he played a Wraith.
That was a cool Star Trek crossover because you didn't know he could go there as an actor, and it was so cool. He was a human guy, with
Last Light? Is that what his character's name was?
Michael Kinmore, yeah. And
okay, got it. Yeah,
but yeah, just being a cool hybrid. I'm a Wraith mixed with a human, and so it was a total Frankenstein arc. Yeah.
But it's where they were trying to turn him human.
Yeah, but yeah, Last Light was the episode. You're right. Yeah,
There we go.
I love that episode. That was so cool.
There was a time when you understood me, Taylor. When your people brought me here, gave me the retrovirus that turned me into a human. You alone showed me compassion. You were the voice of conscience. I've given this a great deal of thought. I'm willing to return the favor. I would very much like for you to come with me. You can care for your child and I will care for the both of you.
I would rather die.
I promise. I will not harm either of you. Dela. You have to believe me.
I cannot trust the word of a murderer.
Why can't you understand? I have become what I am out of necessity. The need to survive.
You became what you are out of vengeance.
Do you not punish criminals in your world? Are they not brought to justice?
Is this justice to you? Killing hundreds of thousands of innocent people across this galaxy?
They would not be dead had you not made me the subject of your vicious experiment. Their blood is on your hands. It's your choice. You can come with me and live or remain here and die. Either way, I'm taking your child.
For a while, it seemed like Tilk's mentor...
Raytek?
Raytek, yeah. He was awesome. Just like how he comes in, there's almost always someone who's like, Tilk, I need your help. I need reinforcements, and taking back my planet. And when the Cole super soldiers were introduced, much like Kenmore, they were going for a Frankenstein thing, and then Michael DeLuise, the director and producer, said they wanted a Terminator kind of villain. It's like, how cool. I've seen DS9 guys compare him to the Breen on DS9. It's very similar to that. It's like just heavily armored. Definitely look cooler. These guys had rocket launchers and were going super fast, and it almost made me wish that they had gone back to the episode where they had like supersonic speed. It's like, Jackson, Neil, can you steal some of that stuff? Because you're going to need this to fight these super soldier Cole guys. Yeah. But
of the Gould, I think my favorite villain was Ball.
Oh, yeah.
He was probably the most interesting.
He was a total, like, Jango Fett kind of guy. It's just so funny. He's like, you can't kill me. I'm just gonna... Kind of like Sylar's the Kenny of South Park who keeps getting blown up. He keeps getting killed, sometimes by one of his clones, and just he's gonna come back. He's somehow the main guy running the show. And
why don't we sit back and watch you get your ass kicked? That way you'll be dead, and we'll be glad.
You cannot be serious.
Yes, I can. I just choose not to.
But if we promise them a grand future, if we offer them our loving kindness, then I assure you, my friends, they'll fall for it completely.
Please forgive this primitive means of communication, but if I were to land my ship in your rose garden or appear as a hologram in your office, what kind of race of beings would you think we are? I wanted to give you my personal assurance that we come in peace, seeking nothing more than friendship.
Kindly offered one half of his domain, Australia, to the free Jafar nation. I have said no such. Your generosity brings a god to tears.
It is so funny when he infiltrates the Stargate base in that one episode, and fans of the show have noted how if you pause it real fast, it's one of the stand-ins who's supposed to be his clone clearly looks nothing like Baal. But if you pause it for like 5 seconds, but yeah, it was so cool how he had an army of his Goa'uld guy.
What kind of character was Marina Baccarin?
Oh yeah, so
she was the half Ori.
Yeah.
Also, she was part of the Ori story. Yeah.
And see, again, like, say what you want about the character. She was having fun, just like, I'm your daughter. And it was kind of, for me, like a more sarcastic, Luke Skywalker, Emperor Palpatine's like, yeah, I could be good, but I'm going to be bad.
She enjoyed playing the villain.
Yeah, it's more fun to destroy worlds and planets. I'm sorry, Mom. That's just what I do. And yeah, she was having fun just being a total turncoat that whole season. But there were other times where unexpectedly, like, she saves them, like, from some of the other.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Did they write her in, that character in, because of Claudia Black's pregnancy?
I think it was a mix of that, and then they were like, how cool if you had just someone who's your kin who you got to fight against. They wanted some kind of internal struggle. Yeah, I had fun with it, that part, especially because she carried on into the movies. And it's so funny how they do time travel really fun on the show compared to where, if you think about it too hard, it's a Back to the Future kind of plot hole. But like, they had so many.
Mobius was a really cool time travel.
Yeah, Mobius was good.
Yes, and Kinsey, I just love to hate. Like, the minute I see him, I'm like, yep, he's a callous, military guy turned senator who's got into politics. He needs to get out of here. But yeah, when Frank Simmons came on, it's like, is there anyone worse than Maybourne? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who,
And John Delancey's just amazing. So
right.
I love that character just for him.
Absolutely. And how awesome that in his final episode, it's another Die Hard parody. Sam is crawling through an air conditioning unit.
Right, air duct.
An air duct and goes down through. And then you find out he's like, hey, he's killing some of his own people. What's going on here? Oh, Gaul took over Simmons. Ah, okay, cool. Plot twist. There's two bad guys in one body. But yeah, Maybourne, you're just like, yeah, he's sexist, he's a dick, he wants to get rid of, all the superiors every time. And it's always so funny. O'Neill, there's so many memes of O'Neill saying permission to punch this man, sir. And it's so funny how they give him his own planet and he's still dissatisfied. And you're just like, so whenever I see that actor, I'm always like, Maybourne, you son of a bitch. He won a Gemini Award and a Leo Award, which are big in Canada for this show. So good on him, because I wanted to punch him every time I saw him on screen.
Sure. Good bad guy.
He was a good bad guy, and it's so fun when O'Neill plays Turncoat, plays spy, and he goes on a spy mission for a month, and you don't think about it too hard because you're like, yeah, no, if you did that to me, I would put in my 2-week notice or ask to be reassigned to a different base. Damn you, O'Neill. But how wild how he plays Maybourne for a fool, and it's just so him. And his superior can just find some dirt on him and get him evicted, basically, like, stripped of his rank.
How about Daniel as a bad guy? He's absolute power.
Oh, it was so hysterical, especially when he's in that. I didn't like the episode, but it's so funny when he's in that one season 4, like, alternate, like, reality episode. And he's basically, like, got a computer mind and he's launching missiles at everybody. And that was the season where Mr. X from X-Files was on there, Stephen Williams. He played Captain Adam. Run. And I'm like, yeah, he's going to be hiding something. But it's so funny how you lose track of how many times Daniel probably dies on the show. Like, he gets
Descended, he's not, he's dead.
He gets zapped by like a robot in one. I'm like, good God, everybody's getting disintegrated. Tilk got killed in a few episodes. I'm like, no. And it's just because Tilk is like the teddy bear who you want to give a hug. You're like, no, don't do it. Don't kill Tilk. You kill Sam, I'm not watching this show, but if you kill Tilk, I'm going to hunt down that writer.
Well, they've had episodes where the characters become something else and they become bad guys too for a bit.
Yeah. And when
Sam becomes a replicator at one point.
That was just a fun
bad
thing.
Sam. What was it?
Sam.
Yeah, it was artistically done, but it was also just kind of fun. It's like, yeah, that it was clearly by people who had grown, they'd seen their share of blockbuster movies like Jurassic Park and The Thing. It's like, yeah, we want to have a fun, much like X-Files, we do want to have a monster of the week that's kind of fun for them to all, play against type. It's so funny when, when they encounter some of the other cyborgs that they thought were deactivated in a later episode, and those guys are like the first to die in their rebellion. They're like, no, he died. And they're like, the real people are still there. They're like, we're here. It's all good. He was going to die anyway. He had a death wish. And you just hate O'Neill when he blasts apart the one cyborg gal who doesn't realize she's a replicator that Daniel invites to the base. And you're like, no. There had to be another way.
So sweet.
She was so sweet, and you're like, you bastard. And yeah, Daniel's not kidding. He's like, he goes, I will never speak to you again. It's like, yeah, he goes about 2 episodes not speaking to him.
Yeah, he's pretty aggravated.
It was. I'm like, you bastard. Could you had spaced them out a bit? But I do love how Apophis, like, the actor's a cool guy. Like, when you hear him speak, I've seen him in some other Canadian shows like The Expanse, and just that mutated voice they gave him was just so intense. And some of the other bad guys they had on the National Intelligence Department, which is, fictional, was cool. But when they introduced Robert Nepper, Simeon and Rona Mitra's Kiva on Stargate Universe, that's where it was probably at its best. That was like the season 1 finale, season 2 premiere. was like, now this is awesome. Now we got not just mutinies, but now we got all these guys who are taking it over and then betraying the other bad guys. It kind of went all 24 for me. It's like, okay, who's really pulling the strings now? I like it.
In Stargate Universe, the bad guys were like this alliance or something, wasn't it?
It was a bit of that. And again, there's like some congressmen and other planetary leaders. I thought they handled it better there. It's just like you see, I said, it was hard to take at first because it was like, yeah, but this is serious. I don't want serious. I want fun. I want grim fun.
You need more fun.
Need more fun. But I got to talk about Michael Beach's character. Again, much like Ronnie Cox's character and the typical Galactica guys like Teague. It's like, technically he's a good guy, but because he's always the oppositional force with all the established commanders, you're like, please blow up. Please blow up. He was Abraham Ellis. Not ringing a bell. Okay, yeah. Michael Beach from Third Watch fame. You've seen him and Aquaman coincidentally, but yeah, it's like, he always dresses down both Carter and Ware, and you're like, man, I should punch you in the face. It's like, and that's just it. Like, he's a good guy technically, but you're still like, can you just not be a jackass every time you open your mouth? And
I'm still mad at Atlantis for killing off Weir. That was a raw deal.
You're not wrong. I was just like, whoa. Hold on a second. They at least would bring her in, like show her spirit once in a while.
As like the clone or the like
alternate reality
robot Weir or something.
Not the same, but I was like, okay.
Was there any behind the scenes as to why she was written off?
I actually don't know.
Well, I think Amanda Tapping had a contract. They needed to put her somewhere.
I think that might have been it. And so they did kind of do a David E. Kelly where it's like, okay, or Dick Wolf. It's like, I'll eliminate you for now, but it's fine. Just give it a few months. I'll put you on my other show.
We'll find a way to bring you back.
Yeah, we'll guest star, and then we'll have you direct an episode and be on the next show I'm working on. But yeah, Weir was awesome because like she had to outwit probably the most amount of parasites and killer race. And the race were interesting because like the Borg, they were weird, they were freakish, and because they got under your skin so much, you didn't want to see them, except when needed. And the show would wisely leave it to your imaginations. Like, here's what they're doing, and why they're eating people and all that. And then it's so funny when they need an ally and they're like, well, okay, we'll think about it.
Well, another thing is like, Stargate SG-1, they tied a lot of things into mythology.
Yeah.
Atlantis tied it into, vampire mythos.
Yes, that's a good point. It did have a gothic kind of atmosphere, and how wild how freaking John Doggett from X-Files, the T-1000 from Terminator 2. You got Robert Patrick playing the Colonel in the first episode, and he dies. And you're like, man, he was milking this role. He was vulnerable. He wasn't Mr. Tough Guy. He was like, what is happening? No.
Well, and they threw him in to make you think he was going to be the one taking over.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It was kind of what they did with edgy cable shows like The Shield, where the guy who you think is going to be the narc gets shot by the bad guy in the first episode. And you're like, whoa, hold on a second. And Shepard said a good line about him. He says, he carried the burden of a leader and he carried it well. It's like, see, that's the right amount of honoring without being preachy, in a fun show. It's like, yeah, when someone dies, you feel it without being over depressed or being like, okay, now you're just trying too hard to, get a reaction. It's like, it's the right kind of, I felt something and now we're on to the next frill, well,
in there it was, it was over and done quick because then no one really got a chance to know him.
Yeah.
It's not like a character they've been on the show for years and then suddenly just died.
True.
You had a good point about the mythology. Stargate had used so much, ancient Egyptian mythology, and then they ran through Norse mythology.
Yes.
And then Atlantis had to do something, so they seemed to sort of go away and do the vampire thing and move more towards horror.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, it wasn't direct horror, but it was kind of creepy. And they would always have the wildest kind of like nightmare sequences where someone's hallucinating and an alien is parasite's trying to get into them. And kudos to the opening credits. You knew everything about where everyone was located, where the iris is located, everything about the city just from those opening credits. So anyone who missed an episode, you know where everything is.
That and Atlantis had that one guy. I can't think of his character name. I think his real name was Rainbow's Son Franks or whatever.
Yes, yeah, he left, and that's his dad. He's such an arrogant asshole. But then you feel sorry when he dies. It's like shit. Okay.
Well, he gets like loaded up with vampire venom or whatever it is.
Yeah, Wraith venom. Yeah,
he's a meth addict, basically.
Yep.
Good point. Yeah, and what's her name? Who was a great actress? She's also a stunt woman. She did stunts for Avengers 3 and 4. Rachel Luttrell.
Yeah, she was
as
great.
Taylor. I'm like, much like William Shatner, don't seek out any album in which she sings. I don't recommend it, but she's awesome otherwise. Like she is. Like,
remember when they turned her into a Wraith? Remember that episode?
That was a wild one. I'm like, whoa, yeah, it did kind of give me Kira as a Cardassian vibes.
Yeah.
You're like, holy crap. And she hasn't done as many movies. She's been in Zombieland 2 and Feast of All Saints and some other sci-fi. She did a dark comedy with Rodney McKay actor, David Hewlett. But yeah, you're like, she's a Tanzanian-born Canadian actress, and you're like, she should have done some more stuff. She is awesome.
And the only thing I've seen her in that I can remember is at Stargate Atlantis. I can't recall seeing her in anything else.
Yeah, you've likely seen her do big parts,
guest spots and little things.
Yeah, so you've likely seen her the most in Endgame. She did stunts for that, but yeah, that's it.
We saw her at the convention. She still looks amazing. She's the super nice person.
She's so athletic, and she apparently has a sister named Erica, who almost looks like the next Angela Bassett. I am not kidding. You're like in same kind of deal. She's done a lot of Canadian TV. You're like Goosebumps. Like, awesome.
Well, I got my picture taken with Jewel State.
So there you go. That also completes the Firefly Stargate crossover. It is kind of funny. It's like,
I think there's just not that many actors in Canada. They go from like the X-Files to Stargate.
Yeah. Well,
well, I can always tell when it's a Canadian production because I'll see the same actors.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and that's what I loved about Cancer Man showing up on Stargate is like he was having a lot of fun, just the way he was using his force-like powers, and how wild, as prior Damaris, he's going up against Tony Todd and some of the other guys, and they're like, Tilk, we need you to defeat this guy. And just the way he has a demise, it's very much just kind of like what he's always done. He has a great no, he's getting blown up. When anyone just like gets defeated though, like they play it up in a good way. It's not like cheesy, CSI crap. Like they're doing it in such a funny way where it's like, oh, that's so funny. Like they do play it up as like a literal chess game at times, just having these different guys. I mean, like we were mentioning with Ball, he thinks everything's a game. That's how he plays it. So it's always so funny seeing him get defeated to where you're like, is he ever going to be successful? Like he's probably the best at taking over stuff, but that's about it.
Wasn't there an episode of SG-1 where like all the bad guys, all the Gwal got together, all the leaders?
Yes.
Yeah, and
they had a summit.
That's what I love too. Apophis, wants powers of what's his name? He's facing off with Raw. I forget who he kills. Sorry, the name isn't popping up. The main big bad who goes in different forms.
Anubis?
Yeah, Anubis. Yeah, it's like, and Anubis is creepy when you see him in that cloaked, shadowy form. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah,
very Emperor Palpatine vibes.
Yeah, I was totally thinking the same thing. I'm like, man,
you can't see his face.
Those stupid Jaffa took half their ships to hunt down Anubis. Meanwhile, his army was poised to attack Dakara. The remaining rebel Jaffa guarding Dakara are being slaughtered. It's only a matter of time before old Anubis gets his hands on the weapon.
I'm sorry, you sound almost happy about that.
Oh, who, me?
Yeah. What do you have against Oma?
Daniel.
No, I want to know. I mean, you're not just watching, you're coming in here to rub it in. Why are you taking such pleasure in her punishment?
Me? I don't have anything against Oma. I think she's great, don't I? Hell, she's the one that helped me ascend. You got it now.
You are Anubis.
Cheers.
That's what I loved about their Din bases. It didn't matter what they did, that they always play up this is just like the Death Star. Like they would always have, Tilk is going to disguise himself as one of the Egyptian, Gaul soldiers. And then it doesn't take, out of all the people who get a good body count, there's no doubt that Apophis and Anubis are up there, but O'Neill, Sam, and Jackson alone always are planting detonators on the ships and blowing up like 1,000 per ship. But they played into it. It was always hysterical. He's like, I know they knocked out Apophis, but he's going to find a way to just kill someone else and then, find the last escape pod. He just has the best shit-eating grin where you're like, you have no shame about all the genocides you do, Oh, that was one thing I liked on Stargate was then there were some other Gaul guys and priors who they had to have come to their senses. And when they introduced Tim Guinea onto there, you know him from Iron Man. He's the one Ori worshipper guy. I love how we imply that he's killing all these people, but it's artistically done off screen. We just see him firing towards the camera. It's like, okay, 20 people died, but we didn't see it. Vala, Claudia Black is having to knock some sense into him saying, you can actually live with that? I don't think so. You're so full of shit.
Right.
How unexpectedly then he says, fine, I'm done killing. I'm going to betray everybody, and fight and work with you. But yeah, like you say, the Altarian home galaxy wasn't as well defined, but yeah, whenever they introduce all the other Gaul stuff, it's just fun because kind of like you don't know who's working for Cancer Man. You don't ever really know, or any terrorist on any other action show. You never know who's working with the Gaul. If it's a senator who struck a truce, or something, there's always some bad apple. And so when they introduce some of these other terrorist guys who is like, who are these people? And then you're seeing Daniel Jackson get all jacked and like take a Stargate SWAT team with them to bust down doors. It's like, okay, now they're really trying to stretch the villains out and have some other crazy stuff. Wait, we got some Section 31 stuff going on here.
Episode called Full Circle, Season 6, the last episode in Season 6.
Oh, yeah.
Was written to be the final one.
Whoa!
They thought it was the end, but then
they thought they were getting canceled. Shit.
Yes, and they got Michael Shanks back for Season 7. Like, we're not canceled. We have to do the Season 7.
I think they thought they were getting canceled a few times.
They did, actually, several times. So, several endings, season endings, could have been just the end.
The end of the,
Yeah, that's kind of the shame. There's some writers who they will always continue their thing, and then there's others, it's like, unfortunately, they're very much like the X-Files guys. Like, when they get stuff defeated, they just want to move on. They don't want to live in disappointment. I was so fortunate to interview Joseph Malazzi about 2 years ago. And again, nice guy. It took us a while. We had to keep rescheduling it, but he was at least courteous enough to say, hey, everything has hit the fan. How would I meet you halfway? You want to do this day instead? And I was like, oh, yeah, sure. But he just moves on. You see all these other, people like J. Michael Straczynski who, you agree with what they're saying, but you can tell they burned some bridges they weren't as smart as the other producer where they pretend to agree, but then politely disagree and find a way to make the studio notes their own voice, He's done everything, from Richard Scarry animations to, other sitcoms, everything from Animal Crackers to Big Wolf on Campus. He just moves on. So like when Dark Matter got unfortunately canceled, he's like, hey, that's it. I'm moving on to something else, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Like all the writers loved the writer's room. Like they just loved each other, How rare is that, You always hear about someone who was just a horse's rump, or had good ideas, but didn't give anyone any wiggle room, to work with their vision, And it's just so cool that, all these guys wrote 20 plus episodes and the ideas kept coming forth. And
did somebody mentioned Dom DeLuise? Did one of his sons work on this show?
Yeah, Michael and Peter. Yeah.
Peter DeLuise was a director.
Yeah.
But I think all three of them were made guest appearances.
But yeah, Michael and Dom guest star, and yeah, Peter is he's just such a hoot. Just because, like,
he did a cameo on Wormhole Extreme. That's Peter, one of the guys.
That's right. It's so funny seeing him, and I think it's Robert C. Cooper is the other writer, showrunner.
And one of them actually had a relationship with Amanda's character in an episode or something.
Yeah. I think that's the D. Louise guy we were thinking of, but like you say, it's so funny. You never would have guessed that these longtime working guys would get into behind the scenes camera stuff. But I think that's just what's so funny too, is just the episodes that, Shanks and Chris Judge would write were wacky, and Amanda did some awesome directing. It's like, so they pretty much predicted what they were going to do for the next 10 years after that in between conventions. And I think it was awesome to just see them do all these Twilight Zone type scenarios and bring in these Star Trek guys, because it's not only not that far afield, but they just love everything. They just love to create and have a worker space, a creator space together. And I mean, that says a lot when we still want more, and it's been years, It's just, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. We can still talk about it because it was smarter than the average bear. It was predicting streaming, and yet it's just so funny. Like, I would casually mention it. My uncle doesn't like serious stuff. He watched it, I had some other relatives who were watching it, and they're like, that's just a fun, laid-back show. And you mentioned one villain, they're like, oh, yeah, evil Egyptian guy. He's awesome. I'm glad you guys brought up Michael Kinmore, because, like, that was probably what stood out the best. I know a lot of people crap on season 5 of Atlantis, and I get it. It's not the strongest, but kudos to them for introducing Kinmore, because that was at least kind of a solid villain. Was it mean to be human now that I'm becoming this awful, creature that's killing for the Wraith? And they give him this, empty promise, like every bad guy is like, oh, well, we'll make you human again. It's like, that's not happening. Not happening. When does that ever happen? But yeah, it's been great having you guys on here on the show. You have owned it.
Okay. Yeah, and we're it's been a while since we've been able to post, because we've had some personal life stuff come up in the last year, but we are hoping to restart our podcast in the coming months.
I still got the feed. And what I liked was also how the artwork you and
that was so
Stargate
fun.
Sing and Get Into Gate had. Get Into Gate randomly stalled. I'm like, oh, what happened? Because that was even more awesome. Like, they were a minority crowd, they were a Puerto Rican and a mixed guy talking about this. And if there's anything cool, it was how cool what that meant to their culture. I was like, whoa, okay, awesome. It is.
Yeah, it's nice to hear different perspectives.
It is a progressive show, even though it does have those awful whitewashed episodes, like you say. You're just like, it's well intended versus other shows where you're like, I cannot watch this. Like, we all have shows. It's like, hey, I'm not saying you can't enjoy it. I just can't watch that kind of show. It's just makes me sick to my stomach because it reminds me of awful people I used to be around. But yeah, there's so much humor. There's so much epic space battles. Guys, binge the hell out of this. I used to have
bingeable show.
I used to have a copy of the soundtrack and just put it on while I'm driving fast to work. So great. We finally got to do this with you guys. Seriously.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You owned it. What? Gil was like, it's not just me again, is it? I'm like, no, trust me. I'm going to hear the other geeks and partners in crime. Glad you got to make it back, Todd. And
thank you.
Glad you're doing well out there. Thank you all so much. Really a blast. It's going to be a lot of fun. Great points.
Bye.
It's over. You can't win. There's only one path. The power and glory of Origin.
You will all burn in the fires of eternal damnation.
Not if I have anything to do with it.
You're no match for me.
I am now.
return after these messages.
If you like small-town mystery, crazy news, and wild history, then the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast is for you. Each week, Josh Mills and Wayne McCarty bring you the absolute best Florida has to offer. So if you're looking for a show that's safe for the family, but funny enough to help you escape everyday life, then listen to the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast. That's Florida Men, plural, on Florida Man podcast.
Hey, it's Brent Pope, the host of Breakfast with Brent Pope. You've seen me on some of your favorite TV shows saying things like, "Give it up, Jimmy. You got to sink this putt to win." On Breakfast with Brent Pope, I sit down with guests from the entertainment world, and we do it all over breakfast. Or should I say breakfast? Every week on Breakfast, you get inside Hollywood info and tips, great breakfast recs and foodie debates. Most of all, you get the most delightful 30 minutes of your week. So dig in. It's breakfast time. Listen at breakfast.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever fine podcasts are found.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening. It's a jacked up